Welcome to Talent Freaks with Andy Coon. I'm Andy, a filmmaker and photographer based in the Bay Area of California. Now, this podcast delves into the journeys of creative individuals who inspire curiosity and impact through their work. In this episode, we're revisiting a conversation from 2007 with American actor DC Douglas. He's also a very renowned voice artist for his versatile performances across film, television, and video games. Born in Berkeley, California, DC has built a fascinating and unconventional acting career spanning stage, screen, and the world of video games since 1985. He is perhaps best known for voicing Albert Wesker in the Resident Evil series and Legion in the Mass Effect series. His extensive body of work also includes appearances in cult indie films like Sharknado 2 and Black Ops, as well as numerous television roles. And I had so much fun with DC, so I can't wait to share this with you. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe and rate Talent Freaks on your favorite podcast platform. It helps others discover these inspiring stories. So let's head back to 2007 and let the younger version of me introduce you to DC Douglas. Enjoy. Thank you so much for stopping by again and checking out this podcast. I had so much fun this week. I interviewed DC Douglas, a professional Hollywood actor, voiceover guy, who also goes out on his own from his own home studio and does professional voiceovers for corporations all across America. And that's how him and I connected. We hired him to do our voiceover at my day job. And if you go to his website, you could tell that his personality is really friendly, goofy, funny, my kind of funny. So I decided just to email him, see if he'd be up for coming on and talking, and he agreed, and we had a great time. So enjoy this episode of Conversations with Coon with DC Douglas. The first thing I'd like to ask you is, how did you get into voiceover work?
After the 127th person told me that I had a great voice and I ought to do voiceover work, I thought maybe I should go do voiceover work. Actually, it's kind of funny. When I first moved to L.A., which was in 85, actually right before I moved to L.A., at the beginning of 85, I went looking at different acting schools, and I just found them all from the Yellow Pages. And one of the places I went to, when you're 17 and you're auditioning for these things, you don't realize, what's a legitimate thing and what's just somebody working out of their house. And so I auditioned for a couple of those people. But one of the people was this lady named Barbara Gill, who actually didn't teach acting, but she was listed as that in the phone book. She taught voiceover, and I didn't know what voiceover was. And when I met with her, and she explained it, and she was making, she was with Will Morris and made a good living at it, but was at the end of her career because, she was in her, 70s then, but she said that the voiceover would inform the acting, and I had 6 months before I was going to start the actual acting workshop, so I'd called her back and signed up for it, and so for the first 6 months when I was in L.A., it was all actually voiceover training, and she was right, because she taught me word color, just basic technical things that helped me when fake it through acting scenes when I first started acting school, and then I think I legitimately got into it probably around 1990. I hooked up with an agency, the small-time agency, but they had some voiceover work, and so they started getting me gigs here and there. And then it really kicked in about 7 years ago, where I switched agencies and put some more effort into it, because I had been mainly concentrating on camera stuff. And that's when I signed with ARL. And it just went into high gear. And it's been going great since. And actually, in the last 2 years have been truly amazing because of a Geico campaign that I booked. Absolutely,
and it's funny because after we started working with you, with the Brooks Group, I heard your voice all the time on TV, and it's just like, hey, there's DC.
Yeah, and sadly, it's probably coming to an end soon, but it was nice while it lasted. Really nice while it lasted.
That's great.
Yeah.
How did you? Or where did you move from to L.A.?
I was from Northern California, so, everyone goes, oh, not such a big move. And, but it's a big move if you lived your whole life in the Bay Area, and then you go 500 miles at age 17, and you don't know a soul in the town.
Absolutely. So. I mean, I went from New York City area to North Carolina, so
it's kind of reverse, isn't it?
It's a reverse culture shock, it is. And I'm still here. So.
Wow.
Help. Anyway. How did you, well, you already answered that one. When did you know that your voice was made for Hollywood?
when did I have my voice? I don't know if my voice is necessarily made for Hollywood, but people are willing to pay me.
That's
I mean, I always knew that I had a low voice after puberty hit, and also my mother is got very good diction and elocution. So, and I was raised by my mother. So, yet I was tall and skinny and loved the drama department. So you can guess what the kids did with me at school. And then after puberty, and my voice got to where it was. And I was still speaking with clarity and not any slang or what have you, and saying things like what have you. People would, I got the heck teased out of me, beaten up as well. So, but I realized then that it was a different voice than what other people had. So, and also I had fun making outgoing messages on my answering machine when I first moved out on my own. There was a Pacific Bell campaign that was running at the time, which was, how did it go? It was, Pacific Bell's a local telephone company here in L.A. or California. And the campaign was, it would be an announcer going, something to the effect of, at Pacific Bell, we care about blah, blah, blah. And then it would go to a real-life customer going, when I first signed on with Pacific Bell, I felt, and so it kept bouncing back and forth. And what I did is I did both voices for my answering machine and made it more about, what it was to be D.C. Douglas and what it is to leave a message on D.C. Douglas's answering machine. And so I had fun doing that. And that's when I knew that I was doing these kind of what I considered high-end productions on my answering machine.
Right.
that I could easily as well, translate it into making money.
Well, watching your demo and listening to your demo, it seems like you really have a good it seems like your personality is in there. It's like it's not all about business, because you have some really fun stuff in there.
Yeah, well, I would die if it was just all about business. But I'm lucky too that it's L.A. So and usually the people that I'm selling to in the ad world and what have you, it's a mix of business and creative types. So if the business types can't take it, there's usually a creative type next to them that can say, no, that's good.
Right.
Or it's okay, the joke's not that offensive. So, but if I had to be strictly just total corporate sound, I mean, who the hell, blah. But I also think too, especially with my home biz, my voiceoverguy.com thing, is that people across the United States and then also some Europe people. But I think when they're looking at all these different people that are doing that are promoting internet services, a lot of them go with this very straight kind of corporate business because they're just operating out of their own home studios or what have you, and so they want to seem as though they're larger than they are.
Right.
But that actually I think backfires, because then it becomes all just shades of gray and boring, and then you land on a website that's got humor and it's it's got some fun to it. Then they go, okay, well, if we have to have somebody read this really boring copy about how our sludge system works best, would it be better to work with somebody who's at least genial and fun and doesn't take it too seriously? Well, if somebody takes their sludge machine too seriously, I don't think I'd want to work with them.
Well, I'll tell you proved that correct when you read our sludge, and it. Because
no, yours was different though, because yours was an actual guy talking, and then it was translated into a script, so it had the rhythm, and it came off like someone talking, which makes it so much easier when you're doing VO. You can just read along and act it out essentially, and it flows. It's the things when people. They write a sentence where they list 3 things at the top of the sentence, and it ends by listing 3 things. And you're supposed to go, here in the wonderful city of sunshine, hope, and dreams, we believe that our product offers you security and stability and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
That's how people tend to write their corporate copy. They're like, nobody talks that way.
You're absolutely right about that.
Yeah. So then you read that, and then they go, it sounds kind of sing-songy. It's like, well, yeah, you've got 9 ideas crammed into one sentence. You either make the ideas stand out, or you just make it all sound like blah.
And the thing that was so great was that we first the product that you did for us. We actually we're going to use it as is, and we listened to it and we're like, I don't think it's going to work. And Bill does a really good job with his own stuff. And then I go, look, let's just get an actor. I'm like, let me look online, find somebody. Found you right off Google. You were number 1 when I searched voiceover. That's it. And so I just listened to your site. I was like, oh, if we can get this guy, it would be great. And the first one you did blew everyone out of the water.
Oh, great.
And it was just, and now Bill is in love. He's just like, oh God, you got to hear this guy speak. He took my stuff and he made it so powerful and it's so great. So it really did wonders. But
oh, that's cool.
the thing that I'm interested in is your other professional life, is your acting, your directing,
Well, the directing, actually, it's kind of funny, as you know, how everybody's got a hobby. And all my hobbies tend to be directly related to what it is that I do for a career. So the directing and the writing has actually just been more the creative outlet. I'll go and create projects on my own to do. But they're certainly not money-making ventures. Nor do they make me famous, but it's just a way of being creative and enjoying myself. In fact, I'm working on one right now. I've written actually several film shorts, but the one that we're working on now, I just adapted. It's a short story that my mother, of all people, wrote 10 years ago. She has no idea I'm doing this. And we shot it all on green screen. And the irony is that this was before I hit the Geico campaign, that I wanted to do a film, but, I didn't want to spend too much money because I'm getting older now, and I'm thinking about retirement and getting a house and all that. And a house in L.A., essentially, you have to have $1 million.
Right.
So I said, let's do it cheap. We'll just shoot on green screen, and I'll do some simple two-dimensional animation stuff with Photoshop and all that. Because I had done a little of that for a silly comedy we had done the year before, but we shot on film, and it was pretty expensive, but it turned out great. Anyway, so we go and we do the 2 days on green screen. Then I get the Geico campaign. I go, well, I have a little more money. I go, well, maybe I should talk to somebody who really knows animation. And I find a guy, and it turns out he knows animation, and he's young enough that he'll work cheaply, but he knows enough that he won't work for free.
Right.
And it turns out he knows Maya and Shake, all these really, the high-end stuff that they use for other films. And we were talking about doing a combination of stuff so that the timeline, and then it's just the Maya stuff looks so great, and we go, we just might as well do it in Maya, all of it in Maya, which essentially is like the movie 300 or Sin City. So now we're doing this little film short. He's working, nonstop every day for the last 2 months on this animation, and we still got another month to go. And it's going to look phenomenal when we're done. But it's essentially it's a 17-minute film about a woman who has a breakdown. But it's interesting. It's got some fun. The writing, it's a lot of narration, what have you. But so it will be interesting. But nobody would take this kind of a story and do this kind of a treatment with it. So that's what I think it'll make it stand out. But again, all of this and the amount of money that's going into it is all just for creative expression. So it doesn't necessarily promote the main career, which is the on-camera acting stuff.
And the main career, that goes through an agency, obviously. Yeah,
I've been with the same agent for about 10 years. Though if things don't pick up, it may be a new agent. So I've been going out on-camera stuff since, I tried like in the 87, 88, but I also was young enough that I kept screwing around and doing theater and improv and chasing girls. But around 1990, I started booking some stuff and then got a little more serious about it. And so it comes in fits and starts. In '96, I had a recurring on an NBC show. I did 10 episodes of a show called Boston Common, and that was great for making me feel as though I was moving to the next level. But it's all perception, because you can even have a series for a couple of years and you are a working actor and you're like, oh, he's a TV star or what have you. But it's really, it's just a job that went for 2 years, because once that job is over, it doesn't necessarily put them to the head of the line.
Right.
And I realized this one year. I was up for, unfortunately, I don't go up for pilots too often. Partly my agent, partly my type, a lot of different things. But the one pilot I was up for, I went up, got to went to producers a couple different times, and I went in the waiting room there, and out the guy who's reading for the role of my brother, who would have been my brother in the show, comes out, and it's Judd Nelson. And I'm like, he had to read for that? Like, he signed in and had to read for that? And it was one of those like slap in the faces of, wake up. His other show's done. Right. He's looking for work just like you. So someone said it's not a sprint. It's a jog or an endurance race. It's just whoever's as long as you can keep standing, you will work, and then you won't work, and then you will work. It's when the people who like hit it big. Statistically, it's so rare for those kinds of things to happen. They're great when they do, but you can aim for that, but you can't rule your life that way, or you'll get very depressed.
Now, one thing I noticed with your website is that you're very techno-weenie, as you put it on your website.
No, I'm not a techno-weenie. I put all that information there for people who were techno-weenies.
To go,
but I faked everything.
So you got somebody else to do your websites and stuff?
No. Okay, I guess that's true. Maybe I am a techno-weenie, but this is the thing. I don't know the things that I'm doing. I know how to, I'm self-taught, but I only learn what it is that I need to know, and I don't know any of the underlying principles of it. So, like, I can create and write. I know HTML. I know HTML is a language or what have you, but I don't know what it is I'm doing when I do it. I copy. When I first started, I figured out that there was a thing in the browsers where you say view source,
exactly.
And then you could see how they made their page, and I go okay. And then I just was experimenting, copying and cutting and pasting bits of code, and then I go, oh, well, that code's got to belong with that, and you got to do a \A in order to finish that code.
Yep.
So I still don't know what it means. So, and then I switched to Flash ultimately because you could only get so far with HTML, but Flash you can make it look like anything you want it to look like.
And they are awesome. And
oh, thank you.
I love how your sites go. Your brain, it splits off into 5 parts. And it's
so I don't know if that's an original idea. I have a feeling it's been done before for other things, probably like cold medicine or something. Who knows?
Exactly. But it seems like you have so many personalities. And which one do you prefer the most?
Oh, the on camera.
Okay.
Absolutely. The voiceover is just an ends means to an end, or it could be the ends to my means. I don't know, but it's the bread and butter stuff. I used to also, I was an editor for 8 years as a survival gig when I wasn't doing voiceover or on-camera acting, and I just found in the last 5 years of it that I was working part-time at it, yet I had started I'll try to make this short. I used to work as a personal assistant to a rich guy,
Gotcha.
and then he wanted to do some editing for something, and so I went and researched. I just edited a demo reel through another company on an Avid when they just were coming out. So I convinced him to get it, and he goes, well, I'll get it, but you have to turn it into a company and make the money back, and then we'll keep it as a toy. But I turned it into a company, and I knew actor demo reels, so I did turn it into that kind of a company, and it took off, and so we just kept it going for 8 years. But in the last 5 years, I'd been getting a lot of auditions and jobs and things, and I ended up working just part-time for a company that I was supposedly the main editor at. And then finally I thought, before I turned 40, I just needed to make the jump. I needed to just make it all acting and voiceover work. So I quit and started the home studio, put up the website, and within 3 months I was making a steady income from it and realized that I should have done it years earlier.
You see that, America? You too can do it.
But it depends on the job too, because I'll also say this, that I just started helping my mother do her business online, but hers is a whole other kind of thing, and it's part of the whole spiritual type of stuff. She does a workshop, and it has to do with shamanism and all this stuff that I'm a secular humanist. So, but I support her and helping her get it. And the website is beautiful, but the market and who's in the market for this kind of thing, it's so specialized that I did all the things that I did with mine. Hardly any response. She's gotten like 3 inquiries in the last 3 months, and it's like I tell her, I go, I really want to help, Mom, but I don't know how to help you.
I know how to help her.
Oh, you do?
Yes, and this is my techno-weaning coming out. So.
Ooh, talk to me.
It's have you ever heard of you've heard of blogs?
Yes.
Blogs right now are the new search engine friendly tool.
Oh, they don't filter those out? They like them?
Oh, they love them. And actually, it's interesting too because search engines really don't like Flash websites unless you have tons of links going to them, which I guess you do.
Well, that, and I also cheat a little, is that I have all the explaining text underneath it, but I present it in a way that it just looks like disclaimer information so that nobody bothers reading it.
Right. That's smart. You got all the keywords in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But blogs are for instance, like Google, it'll scan through pages to see if there's fresh, updated material. And the more you have, the more the better placement you're going to get. And plus, it places all over the place. And I'll do this real quick. For instance, my blog, it's called FC Producer, and kind of Final Cut Producer. Trying to take Final Cut Pro and make it my own as well.
Right.
And I put tags under. I did an article about the Sony's HD recording camera. And there's a problem when you edit it to any editing system because the editing systems aren't updated for that kind of. So I just made that article like 5 months ago, and it's still getting hit like crazy. If you put in Sony HRD1, you'll see in Google, you'll see my blog come up like number 3 or 4.
Well, that's all right. There you go. So instead of me, those times when I do actually have breathing time, and I go, what can I do to help, promote my company more? Instead of me trying to do more link exchanges or something, I would just go to my blog and do a new entry in it.
Exactly.
And then that would be my way of adding fresh content without having to start a new page and new links and update my maps over at Google Maps or whatever that is, their XML files or whatever.
Right.
Well, all right. So, can you get me started on that?
Yeah, actually, it's pretty easy, and it's a lot of fun. And, I mean, considering what I see from your website, you know what you're doing. And, for instance, when you copy and paste stuff into your posts, you'll catch on real quick.
Oh, cool.
Because you could put in YouTube videos, you could put in audio clips. So, I mean, anything and everything that you do professionally, even if you can get, like, your demo reels, slap it up there. And, talk about your daily lives. I know people would love to hear, what you do on.
It's so funny because I guess it depends. Because in my business, when you go to an actor's website and they're not big, but they've got a blog, and I'm like, why do I want to spend my days reading about your days?
I know what you mean.
But I think if it's like relevant information, I think specifically for the voiceover side of it. Writing about certain voiceover jobs or experiences, but in a way that it's like you say, keyword rich, and relevant information for advertisers or companies that would be looking to hire a voiceover. Yeah.
Well, it's huge. It's like your tips. I mean, what you just told me earlier when you went training for your voice.
Right.
If you talk about the 5 tips to help calm your voice or whatever to make it sound better, that would be huge. People would dig it, and there's a whole internet site called Dig where it's a social networking tool where the more digs you get, the higher up it goes, the more people link to it. It's awesome. I'll show you. I'll send you some examples.
Well, that's cool. So now, do you? I feel bad. I maybe should know this, but do you have? Is this what you do? That you help you start up people with blog stuff and that kind of thing?
Well, no, not really, but I've started to since I started blogging.
Right.
My brother is the guru blogger. He's been blogging for 7 years.
Wow.
And he really forced me to do it. And I say forced because I was hesitant. I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. My grammar's not that good and blah, blah, blah. See, I can't even say that. And he was just like, relax. I'll start it up for you. Once you get the hang of it, you could take over. And that's my Greensboro's Child blog that I have.
Right.
That was my first blog. And then I was just like, all right, I'm getting this. I'm understanding. And that really has helped my documentary get a lot of exposure to universities and people who want to know more about that particular incident.
Well, what I like about it also, the sounds of it, if it is truly once it's set up and it's easy to update and all, the nice thing for me would be again on the voiceover side for a promotion, but also like on this new film that I'm doing.
Exactly.
When I want to update the status of where we're in production, I've got to open up the Flash file, blah 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 blah. It would be a lot easier just to post on today. It's like today we did the blah 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 and it looks great, or we just hit this festival or whatever. My last film short, I had to open up and add a new festival every time we got into a new festival, and do the graphic. Oh my God, that was a pain.
Yeah. No, this is so easy and so much fun, and it's addictive. So.
Oh, cool.
Do you have a woman by any chance?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. How do you find time to do all this stuff?
Oh well, I just ignore her. So no. No, actually, the cool thing is she works from the home. Also, she's a copywriter.
Oh, perfect.
She's her website's writingtotherescue.com, and she does press releases and web content and all of that. Does just the copywriting for that stuff. So right now we're just in a 2-bedroom apartment in Hollywood. So our office is our office for both of us. So we see plenty of each other.
Well, where's your studio at?
It's in that office as well. I've converted a closet into a sound booth, insulated all of that, and so I know when we get we're hopefully going to be in a house by the end of the year, or maybe early next year, depending on how this market goes. Because it's weird because the places we're looking are, not that your podcast is about houses in L.A., but
it's fine.
The places that we're looking, the house, the pricing may just stay level, or as I guess they call it, sideways for this whole downturn for everyone else, because it's just they're high value. It's a high value area. Because I have to be near the hill, and when you're near the hill, they're all expensive. But yet the realtors are saying, it's going to go down 5% within the year. So we'll see how it goes. At the end of summer, there should be some sort of inclination as to what's happening.
Yeah, I'm sure when the market crashes and recession hits.
Yes, exactly. I was about to get political, but I won't.
Hey, that's your choice, because my blog's, it's all over the place.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So I have no problem with that.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to say anything.
Okay.
Because I still want Republicans to call me and hire me for their political ads, because I'll do them.
Well, actually, that was one of my questions. I was going to say, would you never do a commercial for political reasons? When I say that, I mean more as not really Republican.
What's funny? I would no. I hear what you say, though. But because I've done a lot of. In fact, Republicans seem to hire me more than Democrats do. But I'll do them all, because I look at it this way. It truly, if somebody is going to be convinced to do something based on the sound of the voice of the ad, then they are truly idiots, and there is nothing I could possibly do. That means any voice would convince them. It's like, that's just silly. I really don't think ads, the kind of ads that, on the big stage, if it was, presidential primary, all that, then yes, I think the saturation of the ads have an effect. But I think on the lower end for state representative and all that, it's the grassroots people that are voting for these people anyway.
Right.
So the regular Joe who hears the ad, they don't get, it's like a fly in their ear. But though there's the thing I won't do though is sometimes there'll be like a sleazy guy who'll email me to want to do a web voiceover for a multi-level marketing thing, and when they're just so bare naked, BS things like that, and it's like what I do two things: either I just delete it or say no, or sometimes I'll just throw back an outrageous price at them. And usually these are the kind of people that don't have that money, so then
right.
they leave it alone. So I guess what I'm saying is I would do it for a price. You know what I mean? If they're willing to pay, $1,000 for whatever for this 1 minute thing that I'm going to do, okay, then I'll do that, because I look at it this way: I've now just taken $1,000 out of their account and made their business that much a little more unstable. and that's of course the rationalization I use for the Republican things too, because if it's one of those anti-abortion things or what have you, I'm all for it. It's a woman's choice thing. But if it's one of those, and sometimes the language on some of these things is just disgusting. Or about immigration, and I've no opinion being expressed here, but sometimes the language that they have, it's like they're coming across the border and they're coming for your jobs. And the idea is like, should we kill them then? It's really like, take arms, a war is about to begin. Like that's not a way to run a campaign.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. So, but and then I figure, but you know what? I took money out of their funds to give them a voice, and any voice could have done that ad, and they're the ones who wrote the copy, so really it's on them. And now they're just a little more poor because of me.
What about Viagra, for instance? Like, would you
do... yeah, I did a great one. I loved it. I guess the campaign didn't do well for them, but it was... do I even have... I don't have it on my thing. I should put it on my reel. It's funny. It was called... I know why I don't, because... Well, a long story. Anyway, the campaign was called Mr. Happy, and it was, is your Mr. Happy no longer happy? and I think it was to animation, so it'd be different things like a baseball guy, a player who's about to hit a ball and his back goes limp. So, I have no problem with that.
Oh, that's great. And what would your ideal role be? If you can, get into the movies, what would your ideal role be?
You mean if I could get into the bigger budget movies that
exactly.
you can actually see as opposed to the little indies?
I wasn't implying anything there.
No. Oh, imply away. I'll just I'll delude myself into thinking you didn't mean it. That's so funny because there's not necessarily any ideal role. The more you get to do in a character, whatever the character is fun. I just did a film with Lance Henriksen called Dead Water, and originally I was just, and the movie itself is, it's a ghost story on a ship, okay? But it's still, the director, by the way, is fantastic. He took a low budget, and it looks beautiful. They shot in HD as well. And but the character was just a scientist coming in, and then I got killed at one point. But it was a nice supporting role, and I went, well, that's cool. Well, I guess Lance looked at the script the weekend before they began to shoot, and he has this major scene of exposition and all that. And he basically rewrote the script with them. And he said, no, it makes no sense. He goes, this guy should be working for the CIA, blah, blah, blah. And so on the second day of the shoot, the director goes, oh, by the way, your role's changed. You're now the bad guy. And I'm like, oh, I am. Hopefully I can work that into the scenes we've already shot.
Yeah, no kidding.
But it was great because then now my character, what was a nice supporting role, it was good to be acting, and we're on a ship, on this old battleship, World War II battleship. It was in San Pedro Harbor. And I was just roaming around it, and that was fun. But now I got a whole subtext, I got other stuff going on, and then I end up getting the crap beat out of me by Lance Henriksen and Colin, Gary Stretch, who plays Colin. Anyway, these fun things, and then of course I get possessed by the demon, and then I go after them, and we've got squibs on me going off, and then I'm beating the heck out of Lance Henriksen, and so it was very, very fun. So that's one of those things. If you say, what would your ideal thing that you'd want to be doing in a film or what have you, I didn't know it, but I like beating them up.
You like beating them up, not getting beat up.
Yeah, and I'm getting beat up, and I liked having the squibs thing. Though I would have preferred a better AD to tell me to put in earplugs, but other than that, I go, should I have earplugs? He's like, no, it's a small load, and then it goes off, and there's ringing in my ears, and I'm like, I'm gonna put earplugs in now.
Do you ever get typecasted?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, mainly in television stuff. If you saw my reel, I mean, the majority of it is, and especially as I get older, it's just going to be more of this. Is usually a-hole lawyers, priggish types, or just kind of more serious father types. But it all depends, and those are it's good to work, but those are kind of boring. I just auditioned for something for Without a Trace yesterday, and I love the casting director, Gary Zuckerbrod. But the role was just for a lawyer, and it's and again, what's nice about that show is it is about the acting because it's Anthony LaPaglia and all that, but it's a lawyer, and it was a one-day guest star role and all, and I would love to work, I'd love to get the credit and all of that, but that wouldn't feed the creative need, and so that's why doing these film shorts is such a joy. But then the flip side is every now and then you get a role like I had on ER where all of a sudden they just said, we want you. They don't say gay, but you read it and he's a florist. You're like, oh, he's gay. And they go, and he's screaming. He's like screaming way beyond the pain that he has. So, and of course, I've got a loud, obnoxious voice. So I went for it. And then here I have this great piece of tape from ER being this very flamboyant screamer.
Oh, yeah, I saw that on your demo reel. That was hilarious.
Yeah, So, you know what I mean? So every now and then you get those things, and you don't know how you were considered for that particular role because there's nothing that you've done before to justify it, but now you have it, kind of thing. I think the one thing that I should get cast is that I don't get a chance to, because you don't see it in my reel but just some a-hole-ish Southern character, and the more you mess me up, because I see myself messed up every day, the more you mess me up, the more perfect I am for that kind of stuff, but. Just takes getting that role.
Do you see your films, the ones you're doing for fun? Do you ever see them going on to YouTube or those kind of things, or are you sending those to film festivals?
Well, it's kind of funny. Is I'm like, my film on YouTube? Excuse me. No, the film shorts I do are actually not that short, which is partly the problem.
Oh, that's right.
People want 10-minute shorts, and mine are usually 20 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes. Though we did do a thing called 80s Man.
That was hilarious. That was great. I actually posted that on my blog to describe you.
Oh, that's cool. Well, we did that. That was totally a lark. Our friends are musicians. They're actually scoring. They scored our last film. They're scoring this one. But we were just down there having dinner one night, and we were bored. And then we just we're trying to think of songs to write, and so I came up with this 80s thing. We did it, and then we're like, we should do a video. Yeah, let's do a video. So $600 later, and many hours of bad compositing in Final Cut, and then we had the video out there, and wanted to do like the viral video thing. Again, I don't know too much about that stuff, so I just did what I could, posting it everywhere, and it did. We got a fair amount of hits in the first couple months, and it's still got a life of its own. I did put it on YouTube. I put it on. There's like an IFC thing they had and all that.
I saw Lance Baxter put it up on YouTube.
Yes, Lance Baxter, my alter ego. And then we also put it on. Then we did get one show called, was it X5 or some cable show? Came across it, and they wanted to talk about it on the show, and so gave them permission, and they talked about it. It's a gamers channel or something.
Oh, G4 Network or something?
G4 Network, right, exactly. So they did a mention of it, and then they did like a little critique thing. But the problem is that there's so many copyrighted things in that video. You know, you've got Michael Jackson going through the, we got all sorts of things. Everything's copyrighted, I'm sure. And so they couldn't show that part where all that stuff happens. So they're only showing the very beginning, which is the dorkiest part of the video, but doesn't seem, I'm twirling around, and then you see my belly button and all. And then they're talking about it, and it's like, why are they're actually having a serious critique of the video? One guy's going, kind of dorky for me, and blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, that's the point.
Exactly. It's so funny when people take it seriously and they try to critique something like that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you win, because a friend of mine, he did a film called Ninja versus Pirates. And he did it just because all these people online were having conversations about who would win, ninja or a pirate. And he shot all this in his living room on a green. He just painted cardboard green.
That's funny.
And it looks really good, and it's very like cheesy made and a lot of jokes in it, and it's just and it's really well done.
But how can you critique a film where the concept is ninjas and pirates fighting each other?
Exactly. And that's what's so funny.
Oh, wow.
But, hey, DC, thank you so much. This has been great.
Oh, cool. Well, thank you. I hope we did we go in the direction you needed to go in, or
absolutely. And I mean,
good, okay.
There is no direction. I mean,
cool.
That's why I like it. That's why I call it conversations. Just let it go anywhere.
Indeed, it was one. Though I felt like we didn't learn a lot by you. I feel I hogged this conversation.
That's a point too. But I threw a couple things in there. I got a blog, so hopefully. I'll email you some stuff, and
that would be great. Yeah, that would be really cool.
If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call me. And
okay.
I do enjoy helping people to blog, and that's really what I'm starting to do now, more than cool. Actual filming and shooting other stuff.
Oh wow!
So I found out that I'm really getting into like the internet as far as communication is concerned, social networking, and getting your message out there, and I'm really enjoying that. So
well, good for you. That's great. Well, I appreciate the tip, and I'll look for your email. And I think that's what I need to do, for at least for mine. And then if getting my mother to blog may be a whole other story.
Right. I'm sure you might have to do that for her.
Right. Exactly.
Thanks again, DC, and
thank you.
And good luck with your film, your short film.
Oh, cool. Thanks very much.
No problem.
I'm sure I'll talk to you soon.
You got it.
Take care. Bye.
Right, take care.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Talent Freaks. DC Douglas's dynamic career exemplifies the power of versatility and dedication in the performing arts. His ability to bring a wide range of characters to life across various media has left a lasting impact on audiences worldwide. To explore more of DC's work, visit his official website at dcdouglas.com. You can also follow him on social media. Now, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and rate the podcast. It truly helps others discover these incredible stories. And if you want to know what I've been up to, check out talentfreaks.com. View some of the videos that I worked on, as well as the photography that I'm now doing, which I am absolutely loving. And if you have suggestions for future guests or topics, feel free to reach out. I'm always eager to bring new and exciting conversations to the podcast. Until next time, keep exploring, keep creating, and stay curious.